question of all the panelists, and you know, if you choose to answer it, you can answer it, or if you choose to pass on it, we can just move on to the next one, or whoever answer. Okay, question number one is, explain what intersectionality really is for those who don't know, and also, can you address the lack of intersectionality within the ERA movement phase in Virginia? Also address how to okay, that's fine. And how to address how to truly value the voices of others and not just pander or use the issues of women of color just to win. So I didn't feel like those were all different questions. It's just.
So I wanted to jump in and answer it because the term intersectionality is a sociological and a theoretical concept, and what intersectionality is it deals with the intersections of oppression. And so if you're dealing with gender as an example, intersectionality, which is kind of is born out of the Black feminist movement, the work of Kimberly Crenshaw, Bell Hooks, Rose Brewer, other theorists that don't actually, I was at a conference, they don't really like the term intersectionality, but it has become a term. So it was born out of understanding first with the feminist movement that women are not a homogenous group of people. Black people are not a homogenous group of people. White people are not a homogenous group of people. So you have the intersections that can be race. If you're a woman, it can be the intersection of race that will influence the level of oppression, class that will influence the level of oppression, sexuality, religion, and on and on and on. So intersectionality is really a sociological, theoretical concept that deals with the way different constructs form to create that intersecting oppression. Historically, the ERA, the feminist movement was a movement that was dominated by white women. It goes all the way back to the women's suffrage movement that was going on when Black women were still enslaved. And one of the critical issues about feminism in general, especially as it deals with intersectionality, is the way that Black women have traditionally and historically been used as pawns in either the white woman's gender movement and even the Black men's race movement, right? So we don't want to exclude that. And so contemporarily, the issue with the ERA is the concern that it does not include Black women, but that movement is a middle-class white women's movement that is designed to promote their advancement with their men in using the labor and the presence of Black women. But when it comes to the issue of race, which is why I gave the call to my white sisters in the first place, that when it comes to the issue of race or class, white women will diverge from the interest of other people after their agenda is made. So that's one of the concerns contemporarily.
Can I ask a follow-up? So other than intersectionality, what would be is there a better terminology?
I don't know because I didn't develop it, but I was at a conference and Angela Davis and I forgot who it was. I'm seeing her face, but her name slides me. They just said that that wasn't a term that they use. Some people will use Black feminism, but that wasn't a term that they use. But I think intersectionality kind of covers it because it definitely does deal with the way that people experience oppression at different levels based on the oppressive constructs or the oppressed groups that they're members of, if that makes sense.
Okay, how can faith communities organize by voting districts to push attitudinal shifts in their political leaders and within their houses of worship?
Well, first we've got to change our attitude because rather than being the transformational unit we should be, that's a value we're having, inside the faith. I am a liberationist. I've even been accepted in some ways as a womanist because I embrace, women. And so, you got issues that you got to deal with first in-house. And then once we get that straight, then we can move outside. Because when it comes to politics, the church, especially black church, has just been used too long. When politicians show up before the election, and we allow them to take over the pulpit and whatnot. I have a rule: you can come and worship, but you can't say anything until after I do the benediction, and nobody is forced to stay. And so, crazy things like bring under the season with season. To me, that's a joke because season doesn't have anything. But it's all inside first. We got to change church inside and open our eyes and be the people that God wants us to be before we can, make the change. And I hope I see it in my life. I see it with some people, but it's really, I focus on the rural black church in my study. And what happens, the rural people just move to the city, so you got the same mentality. And we're so stuck in the same thing. Some things I'm hearing are from the 1950s. In fact, some things are from 1867, when most of these churches were first formed. So that's why I always talk about, in two instances, we got a black church, it's a white church with a black church. That's all. And so, that's not going to change it. And so, people like me just got to fight that. And I'll fight it until I sit in on it. Hopefully somebody else will pick up the mantle. And then we'll be able to help these communities because it's not happening. It's not like I said, I grew up in the civil rights movement, and the civil rights movement was in the church. Right. But also remember, you had churches that didn't support the civil rights movement. You got a church in Chicago that changed the address of the church because the street they were on was on Martin Luther King Boulevard. So they used the side street for the address. When Martin Luther King came here and went to First African Baptist Church, most of the black pastors did not show up. So we got a whole lot of problems when it comes to things.
May I ask a question that might put a final point on this?
We have already taken the questions from the audience.
I'm going to allow for it. Yes. Given that Dr. Edlow and I are the oldest ones, that's a matter of privilege. My question is, you said we got to clean up our own act. Are we talking about within individual churches? Or are we talking about among the brethren? Because it seems to me that the brethren got a lot to clean up. Perhaps then they can clean up what internally is in the church.
If you read Warren's book, The Divided Mind of the Black Church, the black church started out as a revolutionary agent. It's about rebellion. But what happened, you had the house slaves that went to master's church, and the house slaves had most of the education. And so what happened, they ended up co-opting the original black church. And then you had, one bishop in the AME church, it was all about, being educated and being Eurocentric. And so that still goes forward. I mean, the AME church split off from the Methodist church in 1821, but they adopted the same creed. Nothing changed. And my whole thing is that, I see God from a different perspective. But so many people, because of Eurocentric education, Eurocentric religion, they see God as maintaining the status quo, just like the evangelicals who support Donald Trump. Religion has become, the agent of the government. Christianity is capitalism in drag.
That's right. That's right.
And And then when you get to heaven, you will have your pie in the sky by and by. Now, I want mine right here. I want some steak.
I'll let her go first because
I think one of the challenges in Virginia, in the faith communities, is, people don't know or don't take advantage of learning about the basics of, like, who legislators are. I mean, I go to a church that he knows, near here, and, like, I did a letter writing thing at my church on Medicaid expansion, and got everybody back, and nobody who came to write letters knew who their legislators were. They didn't know who their delegates were. I mean, people could take out their voting cards and we could find it, and that all was fine. But if you don't know your legislators, you're probably not writing. And this is a progressive church, right? And we were structured to be effective. And you have, like, this movement going on right now with the conservative churches that are using all the latest in technology. They're running their lists against the ban stuff, against the voting files. They're using it for TV. I mean, the right wing is using all the latest technology.
Yes.
And frankly, the more progressive congregations, the black churches, the Latino churches, the more progressive white churches, I mean, we're not, right? We're not doing that. And we're not structuring ourselves, like, to even know who our legislators are. And so no wonder we're not as effective sometimes as some of the right-wing forces are, because we're not organizing ourselves. So I think it's again, it's a horrible situation, but it's an opportunity, right? I mean, if we got our congregations, I know all the stats about the numbers are dying and whatever, but there's still a lot of people in these congregations, right? And if we got them organized and people knew who their legislators were, they voted, they wrote them letters, they invited them to talk, I mean, we could make a much bigger difference than we're making right now.
And that's the whole point, Ms. Bobo, because nobody has to convince anyone to go to church on Sunday. If you're going, you're going. And most congregations are full on Sunday morning, but nobody's saying anything. So the same sort of calls that Sister Zoe had for our white brothers and sisters in the room, I have the same sort of call for the faith-based community and your peers, because there's a whole lot of folks that have a full, packed house on Sunday that are not saying anything.
I'll probably get run out of the room after I say this, but my ancestors have called me to say it, so I unapologetically. I think the first thing that we have to understand is that Western Christianity is contrary to the indigenous African spirituality. And a part of the institution of enslavement was dehumanizing Africans and also taking away our spiritual connection. And so, one, the Bible is an Ethiopian doctrine with books that are left out of it. It has been misinterpreted, and Western Christianity was fundamental, and the development of the Black church was fundamental to the institution of enslavement. And so I think, we can, it gets a little tricky, and I don't like to really deal with religion in public spaces, but we do have to understand the way that Western Christianity has been used in order to promote enslavement. And the fact that the original churches were about the slave masters training Black slaves to implement religion in a way that supported the dehumanization of African people. And it really doesn't mesh with the Bible. If you really read the Bible, a lot of the doctrine that were exploited in order to do that does not reflect, is not an accurate reflection of the Bible. And so religion has traditionally and historically been used to support white supremacy and Black inferiority. And I think we gotta get to that. And I think a part of the liberation, when you're talking about the liberation period, but specifically the liberation for Black people, is for us to get beyond this notion of the way that Western Christianity shapes our ideals about even who Jesus was and what Jesus looked like, right? Because the narrative of what Jesus looked like in the Bible is not the same photograph that we see. So that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day, but I think that...
And I have disagreed on one point. See, the original black church was Bushtown Palmer Church, and they were about rebellion. In the woods. Yeah, the original one. And
Was that a Christian church?
well,
The question was about faith-based,
Yeah.
so it wasn't necessarily.
and as Africans, our Christian church is a whole lot of things. You know, we say we're Christian, but we do Muslim things. You know, we do things from our ancient roots that were brought over. If you read Slave Religion by Anthony Roosevelt, it just shows the intersection of how things, and we lost a lot of our power when we were free. That's the things, and you know, even before then, when they passed the law, you know, like Nat Turner, he could read, so he could read the Bible for himself and interpret, and just listen to the slave songs, man. Those people could not read and write, but they had a theology that was much better than all of us sitting here in the room. And I mean, they could use their code language and everything. So it's a mixture. If you go south, where the Catholic countries are, you know, voodoo and all that mixture of Christianity, and they could embrace Catholicism because of all of the various high gods. You know, when we say most high god, that's an African term, because Africans realize that, you know, all these minor gods. So I agree with you. When the church was taken over by Rome, that's when everything got messed up. It messed up a whole lot of people. And like I said, what they did, in 1619, people came to Virginia, and they came as indentured servants. And the thing said that if you were a Christian, you couldn't be enslaved. And the Virginia legislature changed the law that said that if you were black and you were baptized, that gave you free. So in other words, accommodating the law. This is this race thing. And so I'm not going to give up on the church because I see change in some people. And unlike when I first started practicing pharmacy, I thought I could save the entire world. But I've learned that you save one person at a time. And if I can do maybe 50 more before I die and they change up, I'm going to be happy that I'm a follower and a true disciple of Christ. Because that's what the problem is. You know, we got members of the church, but we don't have disciples.
Great answers from everyone, and I think all that needed to be said, everyone. I saw a common thing that was going on, the discussion about Eurocentrism and, Western Christianity. So the next question from the audience members is, what steps can we take to decolonize our minds? Everyone steps over.
In every institution that we get in, we have gatekeepers. And gatekeepers maintain the status quo and keep people like me out. When Jim Gilmore left as governor, state had this massive budget deficit. And Mark Warner trying to figure out what happened. So he called Frank Hall. Frank Hall and I worked together in the Model City program. You know, we saved that to the gatekeepers, we're going to mess that up. And so I gave Frank Hall this thing, come up with a drug list. And in the first 6 months that was in force, $800 billion was saved by the state. That was just the first implementation. So I mean, this has been billions of dollars. But the gatekeepers, when somebody says appoint Leonard Edwards to the board of pharmacy, gatekeeper said no. Gatekeeper said same thing for the board of health. And then finally, they asked me, and I know Tim Kaine personally, you know, I've been on board with Tim Kaine. Somebody came to me and said, well, you don't support Tim Kaine. I said, why should I support Tim Kaine? I've saved the state all this money. I've saved Mark, you know, his governorship. And then I got a phone call. Well, you serve on the board of DC Health System. But see, these gatekeepers, the gatekeepers didn't want me there because they knew when I went in there, I was going to say, you know, we had all these vice presidents and they were paying the women a whole lot less. And I'm saying, wait a minute, this isn't right. You know, they're giving out these bonuses. And, you know, the vice presidents of the hospital, their bonuses are more than the salaries of the workers. And the workers are the patients that come to me every day. You know, and the gatekeepers don't want people like that involved. So, find out who those gatekeepers are, get rid of them, because they are enslaving people. You know, we get all happy because they, you know, and sometimes it's not even the elected ones. It's the ones that are appointed. And they're the most dangerous form of black people these days. I know that sounds thing, but it's the truth.
We live on a giant plantation in Richmond. We all on this plantation, and they got roads cut out for us.
No one's additionally respond to that?
How do we decolonize our minds? How do we decolonize our minds?
Next question. We have to be the final one before John wants to kick us out of here.
Yes, you. Yes, that was just for you.
Richard, as long as you want.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I have a lot to say. The reason why I didn't answer is because it would be an answer that would take too long, and I don't want to say what I think about decolonizing minds and have people take it out of context without providing for it. I believe in that, and it's funny because that's the work that I do with my students. The decolonization has to begin with understanding the ideologies that have been integrated in our systems in order to promote our conformity to our oppression, our collective oppression. And it includes the ideologies embedded in politics, economics, education, religion, and so on and so forth. And science, who we are, biology, who we are as a people, because we're really one people, right? So y'all don't even want me to get into dismantling the whole myth of race, because we're really all one people. But see, white supremacy and black inferiority binary would make it uncomfortable for me to talk to people about the origin of humanity and the origin of civilization, because we're one people, and it would dispel. And then if people are not comfortable with who they are outside of the ideologies, then it gets tricky. So it would just, I love it. It would be just too much for me.
You said, yeah, I'm glad.
Unfortunately, because of the spirited, why your question?
Be kidding me. I need one more question to answer because I left my children to be here.
Where's your question? You ask it. Ask your question from there.
Yeah. My
I'm not
question
even gonna
is,
look for it on a piece of paper.
you got it, because I
did a lot of business in the oppression of black people and low-income people in the city of Richmond. Her question is, in speaking about dismantling racism, what roles should individuals play within nonprofit organizations when they are fueling racist antics, policies, and productions, especially black folks?
Baby, I mean, I had to put it out.
You can answer for me.
I was over at your school Wednesday, and we would have a conversation about nonprofits. And I always tell people, be ready for a seat at the table. Always be ready for a seat at the table, because that's where policy really starts. But what happens, I talk about gatekeepers, in this city, we've got some people, they're sitting on 5 and 6 nonprofit groups. And it's amazing how it's not about the community. It's about them.
Power base.
And so, my name is on the side here, and I'm not making a difference. And that is where, that's how we get helped by our own folk, because, we're talking about diversity, but it's just diversity, it's not inclusion. Nobody being included in this thing, it's just the status quo. So, you gotta sort of, all of them have to fill out the 99 form. So you just go to the IRS, and it tells you everybody who's on board.
Right.
And when you see an organization, and see, this all is about tax policy, because see, they get to have all this money and not pay tax, and they got to give a certain amount away. But it's not going to the right place. I sell on a lot of them, and I pride myself. I never did, one of the nonprofits I was applying to be a dean at something, and the guy said, this one thing I can say about Lily, he is more than having his name on the line. And that's the way it should be for all of you. It's frightening. And how sometimes they even, the boards they serve on are in conflict. And so the ones that serving us better, they suffer because they're going to be with the one who has more power and more influence.
No, because I want you to wrap it. I want to go for you, because you gave the answer to her question at the beginning when you first started speaking, and you said that we can't be the voice of the people. We have to let the people speak for themselves. That's your words. So I want her to wrap it up, but I just want to tell a brief story to you guys, because I started off, that's 360 degrees, I started off talking about the work that I tangibly do, like real work. And the stuff that I've said, that's not the word that I want to use. The stuff that I've said in front of the media, in the protests that I've organized, I've had to arrange autopsies for Black boys who were shot in the head. I've had to see stuff that, as a sociologist, So I've been to Ferguson, I've been to Baltimore, and so when I went to Baltimore, when I go into activist work, as an activist, my job is not to become the voice of the people. And even though I have a doctor in front of my name or whatever, that gives me the authority to kind of speak and to kind of write on it, what happens is that, I call them struggle pimps. And I have a problem with struggle pimps. Struggle pimps are the ones who go into the community. They get used by the system system to become the voice of the people that deviates away from the struggle of the people. And people get mad at me about it. So I have physically watched people go in, name it, take the mic away from the people who started the movement. If you all have done research about Ferguson, I went to Canfield and I talked to some of the brothers who are now dead. Do you understand what I'm saying? So people, the intellectuals, the politicians, all due respect, not you, not Reverend, not Dr. Edna, but the pastors go into the communities and they strip the voices away from the people and their ability to define their own struggle. Then they name it and start going to all of these academic conferences and being on CNN and being the voice of the people. But what happens is that the government gives them the narrative to spit that doesn't contradict the root of the problem that the people are very well. As a PhD in sociology, I do not have to go into the neighborhood and define the struggle for the people, because the elders who have an 8th grade or no education can absolutely define the struggle and all of the mechanisms for themselves. Our job has to be to, one, give them the mic and to use our platform in order to give them a voice. And if we're sitting out in front of them defining their struggle for them, and especially if we're defining it wrong based on our interpretation, then we can't get mad at any other race of people because we're doing the same thing. Come on. I'm with you. So, Lorraine, tag team.
So let me bring it home. So talked about Baltimore, she talked about Ferguson, but I'm gonna talk about right here in Richmond, Virginia. So last summer, the end of last summer, that was the ending of my seat on the council of the Salvation Army Boys and Girls Club. And I just need for you to hear me on this because it's specifically to what it is you're talking about. So a long time employee of the Boys and Girls Club, close to 30-year employee that so many people knew, Mama Dot Crenshaw. I was in Portland, Oregon with the Dignity in Schools campaign, and she called me because I had left her a message. She just returned my call, and she said, "Hey, have you heard?" I said, "Heard what?" And she said, "Yeah, well, I'm not going to be here anymore." And she said, "Yeah, that my position is going away." I said, "What do you mean?" So she really couldn't. She was like, "Lorraine, just let it go." And I just couldn't let it go. My spirit was just like vexed, so to speak. And so I got on Facebook, this Facebook Live. I don't know how many, it went viral, but I had to speak out on this entity, right? So now here we are. I'm on the council of the Salvation Army Boys and Girls Club. So what that means is that I'm sitting in on decision making on a quarterly basis. And while we're having conversations about programming, while we're having conversations about facilities and what it is we're going to do in the brand new pool, we never had a conversation about these human resources that were so replaceable, even though they have been there for upwards of 3 decades or more. Okay? So when it comes down to it, I put this Facebook Live post out and I'm saying, listen, so we already understand the gentrification in the area of Churchill, so we know what that means. But again, so the people who have held this club down for so many years, all of a sudden they're disposable. So when I was on the council, I consistently said, why are we planning programs when we haven't done a needs assessment? Why are these arbitrary programs being planned for the boys and girls at this club in this community, yet we don't know what they need? No one's done a needs assessment. So what are we doing? Something just to look good? And when we have this fundraising sort of package that went out to all these big wigs at banks and folks who actually have significant sums of money, the UCrops, who actually donated all of the money to the pool, it was based on the stories and the narratives of these children. Now look, you don't have to look in the club. That's all over. You can get that from Google. You can Google that. So when I'm in these council meetings, and I'm saying, so while we're talking about programs, while we're talking about all these things that should be and you want to be going on in the club, why are there no children in the room? Not one parent, not one student, not one club participant was in the room, and that's problematic because what we often see is decisions are made for us without our inclusion, without our input, without our feedback. But again, the struggle, is not the oppressed.
My question dealt with specifically as individuals within these organizations, what are we supposed to do? We are supposed to lead and call that out, is what we're supposed to do. We are not supposed to stay and support it, and that's what's happening around here, is nobody's leaving and they're coddling this thing. And they're covering up, and then when people do come out, those are the ones who are demonized myself, blackball myself, and not allowed to be in these spaces. And so you gotta push yourself back in. That's why I'm always in the room and ain't going nowhere. That was what I was really trying to ask. Because that is the narrative that we never hear, is to get your ass up and leave.
Hey, that's exactly right. You know what? It's not optional, right? Because our silence is consent. So we can't afford to just go with the program.
Right.
And that brings me to a point, no, where you going, Karen?
I just want to sort of point out the role that money plays in all this, right?
Oh, yeah.
In that, the people who control the money that dictates what many nonprofits do, don't want a lot of social change. And again, for me, the classic was in the Medicaid fight. Virginia had more healthcare conversion foundations than any state in the nation. Any state in the nation, right? There's a gob of them, and their mission is all to help, on healthcare, and not a single one put a dime into the Medicaid expansion fight, right?
And see, explain that, when she talks about those organizations, whenever a hospital is sold, all of this money is put into a foundation. So Richmond Memorial, Tree Hospital, James Foundation, you get all these foundations with all of this money. Richmond Memorial Health Foundation, we have $500 million in essence.
And they're changing. They're like moving, they got a new director or whatever. But again, I talk to a lot of these, I'm trying to get money to fight the Medicaid expansion battle, right? And I'm talking to them, they say, well, I know it makes sense, but our board is all really conservative money people, again, I'm not trying to excuse bad behavior in nonprofits, right? But again, I know that the nonprofits, they can't do often the cutting edge work that they ought to be doing because of their funding sources, right? The funding sources are designed to keep people complacent and doing just charity kinds of work and not social change work. And there's a reason why those kinds of organizations get big money and the social change ones don't, right?
Well, it's because people stay there and work. If there's no people to work, there's nothing to fund. And that is the thing. And that's it. And that's the issue right there. If we stay, then they get to control the narrative.
All right, that's fair.
And when it comes to what I do with Bridging the Gap Virginia, because I don't bite my tongue, because I'm not politically correct, I do not get a seat at the table on a regular basis because folk really don't want to hear the truth.
Yeah.
I've applied to be on the parole board several times through the McCullough administration and through now Northern administration, because those folk that are make up of the parole board ain't got a clue.
Right.
Because they have never been in prison.
Come on.
So they have never committed a crime. So who are you to say and speak to them? They get paid. Yeah, they make about $100,000 a year to be on the parole board. So they don't like seeing me when I go to parole board meetings up in Atmore to represent families of loved ones that have been incarcerated for 30, 40 years.
Well, Richard, the reason that you will never be on the parole board is because corporations like CCA, the Corrections Corporation of America, that sued Virginia, Texas, and some other states for not maintaining a 90% occupancy, they have to have a system and a strategy to get folks in that prison.
I got a stock tip for you. Invest in Community Corrections Corporation. You'll be a millionaire.
Yeah, and we should be.
I pause them the city of Richmond because they had entered into a contract with GeoSystem, which is another prison system that builds prisons for their daily reporting center. I went to City Hall and I lambasted them, but the irony of it all, they had no clue who GeoSystem were. But they allocated $500,000 to it.
Budget is a moral.
You know, so I'm frustrated, I'm disgusted, and we can